Persist despite appearances, despite the evidence that seemingly is contrary to what you desire. What you keep focusing on must and will manifest so long as you persist and know that your desires are a promise, and they are a promise. Everything is fulfilled. You are just calling out by declaring what it is that you want to experience next. Stick with me. You're going to love these success stories that I have in this video, and they were so much fun, and I'm seeing them happen more and more every day. And I want to dive into this feeling and experience and give you a visual of what persisting despite the contrary appearing to you kind of looks like, to give you guys more of a conviction that it doesn't matter how long it's been, it doesn't matter what you've tried, it doesn't matter what you've done, what you haven't done, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what you're doing right now. So welcome, my name is Rose, and welcome to The Rosey Life, where we help you free your mind and follow your heart to live a life that you truly love by following your desires, which are always, your heart is always leading you. That's why I love saying that, and I just really enjoy saying that. So if you're interested in working one-on-one with me, you can go to TheRoseyLife.com and read the information there. You can join the Rosey Life course and community, where I show up live and answer your questions every single Wednesday, and they're recorded. And you can also join or purchase the course, The One, if you want to really sink into imagination and really understand it in a way that you're just like, okay, I don't need to keep watching and trusting a coach or a video telling me that it's done. I want to trust it myself because I have a personal understanding and a personal realization, and that is what the intention behind the One course is. Okay, so let's get to this. So I'm going to share with you a couple of stories, and that happened just the other day with me and my son and his friend. And they're really cool stories because I was able to see everything unfold live. In other words, I was able to see the world, this 3D, conform to what I had chosen. And despite some seemingly very difficult positions that they were in. So the scripture that I want to start off by sharing this, because this scripture did not resonate with me for a long time. And when I really saw what the scripture is saying, it just puts a whole nother level of it's done and all creation is finished, and that you can have anything that you want or need or can imagine. Okay, all that is required of you is to select what you want to experience, and know that your selection and your persistence in that story, that this 3D must conform and yield to it. And this is the scripture. It's in Matthew 6:8, and it says, "Your Father knows what you need before you ask." And need isn't just like you need food, water, and shelter. That's not what it implies. Need is any desire, anything that you want, all of your needs, all of your wants, anything that you can imagine. That it says your Father knows what you need before you ask. I underlined it before because your I am already knows everything that you want, everything that you need. And the reason why we are given the feeling of I want something is because, one, it's already fulfilled within us. It's already done. It's already created. Remember, all creation was finished, and now we're just selecting what we want to experience next. And your Father already knows it. And I'm going to give you guys really concrete examples right now to, I just get the goosebumps, to describe what this scripture means in real life for you to have an experience of yourself. So my son has a roommate, his best friend, and their lease is up in their place that they're living, and they thought it was going to be easy breezy for them to get a new place because they need a bigger place since there's two of them now. So they both started applying and kept getting rejected and spending lots of money in application fees trying to get a place for them to move into. And they both have jobs, but they both don't have the best credit scores because they both made decisions that didn't help them in the past. So they've been struggling. They even had to get a co-signer. They got a co-signer. They had a recommendation letter from the current place they live in, and everything was a no. They kept getting no's by everyone, no matter how much they tried to prove that they can afford it. Everything that they were asking, it were just a no, no, no. Finally, I stepped in and I said, you know what? I found a place, and I met this woman, and she's really nice. And so I decided to take them to look at this new place. And the lady said, she said, I just really like your mom. And she says, so I'm going to go ahead and say yes. She did a minor background check on them, but she said, you know what, I just have a good feeling, and I'm going to go ahead and give you guys this place. That was cool. That's a manifestation, right? But here's where it began to get really weird for them. When she said yes, she asked them for the full month's rent and a full month's rent as a deposit. They walked away and their eyes were budging out of their head because they're like, we don't have that much money saved. We don't know how we're going to come up with that. And I just kept telling them, you'll figure it out. This is where they were at 2 days ago, okay, that this woman said that she says, I'm going to need the deposit when you come sign the lease, and then when you move in, you're going to have to pay for the rent. So they were freaking out. I'm talking, they were stressed out. They said, this was my son and his friend saying, we tried everything, and they really did. They tried applying for many loans, even those, I didn't know this till later, but even those like cheesy loans with like 25% interest, okay? They tried getting extra work, like trying to apply for side jobs and walking dogs, asking for extra hours, right? Wasn't cutting it. They tried borrowing money from friends and family. It was a big fat no. From everybody, from their close family, from their friends, everyone saying that they couldn't help them out. Everyone kept saying no. And even while I could have said yes, I decided that I'm not going to be that source for them anymore, that they need to learn how to figure this out on their own, because that gives me the feeling of freedom and fun and having an easy, fun relationship with my son instead of being just the provider and support. I took myself out of that role and decided I want and deserve to have a fun, freezy relationship with my son, and that includes me not always being the one that provides. So I stood my ground on that as well. So they were not getting that and from any directions from either of them. They went to their parents, they went to friends and family friends, they tried borrowing money, they tried getting extra work. They were complaining about the situation a lot, like a lot. They complained about it to everyone and anyone that would hear them, their friends, each other. They tried complaining around me. They were stressed. When I say they were stressed, like they were losing sleep over this. They were like, we're going to get kicked out. We have nowhere to live. They were already planning on his friend moving back to LA. My son was already planning on maybe moving into his dad's house, which means he would have to quit his job, and his friend would have to quit his new job that he really loves. They were both like already making plan Bs and seeing this was a hopeless situation. There's nothing they could do in a matter of a week, okay, that they needed this money, extra money in a week. They exhausted everything, all of it. And that one night, just 2 nights ago, my son came over and wanted to spend the night. And he was talking to his friend on the phone about this, and he had his other friend on his PlayStation, and he was talking to both of these friends and saying how screwed they are, and that there's nothing that they could do. And his friend kept trying to apply for loans. His friend kept trying to hit up a family friend. They were trying everything, okay, even down to the wire, okay, because that next day is when this landlord needed the deposit. So his friend's mom said, nope, don't have it. Everyone, no, okay. I stood there listening to him and listening to everything that they had tried, and I looked at him and I said, it will work out, period. He even mocked me, and to his friends he said, she doesn't understand me. She doesn't understand that we're not in the position that she's in to be able just to easily have the money. She doesn't understand that we can't, that we're screwed, that we have no help, we have no backup plan, we're out of plans, we're out of options. And I told them, you're not out of options. I said, you're just looking at the one or two options. Maybe a loan will come through the next day. Maybe this family friend will come through the next day. But they kept getting no's and maybes and rejections. They didn't have anything solid. And I said, but those are still possibilities, I told them. And then another possibility came up of his friend selling a car that he's no longer driving in LA. And I said, what about that car? And then they started looking into the details of perhaps selling that car. So that was an option. They started looking. Here is the key thing I want to highlight. I started them having look at the possibilities outside of the one or two options that they thought they were completely reliant on. They thought that it was either this or this possibility, and if that doesn't work, it's done. I started helping them expand the possibilities, which yesterday in my video I say faith equals, not only is faith equals consent, it's yes, I'll take it, but how far can you see? As I mentioned in that video yesterday, how far can you see? I started helping them by asking them questions, and I help expand how far are you looking at? How far can you see, right? What are you willing to see? And that's the story of Abraham, actually, just thought of when he went up on the mountain and he looked at all east, west, north, and south, and God told him that it was his, as far as he could see, that was his. And so this is what I was doing with them. I was asking them to look further than they could see in front of them. And I went to sleep that night in the conviction that it works out, because I get to have my happy, fun, easy relationship with my son, and that what they need and want is already fulfilled. I went to sleep. The next morning I woke up and I went to the bathroom, and I was sitting in the bathroom and I said, I am the good news. So I'm going to hear good news out of his mouth. I am the good news. I'm not just sharing the good news here with everyone, but I am the good news. And so I come out of the bathroom. My son was awake on his phone, and he was talking to his friend. And he told me, as soon as he hung up the phone, he said, his friend's mom is sending them the money. The same person that rejected the son and told him nope several times, not once, but several times, not just for this time, but like a month back, the same person that said no ended up saying, yes, I'll send you the money. And they sent it to him right away, and done, taken care of. Do you see this? No matter what, they thought they were done, okay? But expanding your awareness of possibilities, like, yes, this is looking like it sucks. Yes, it looks like I just have this choice or this choice in front of me, but I'm expanding, meaning I can think, and I even told them, I said, the car selling is just another example. I said, but you guys can't see the other possibilities that I can't even see right now. I said, but you don't know how this could just end up falling in place for you. We just can't see it. We're just looking at these one or two options, but there's so many ways that this could work out. And that just opened their awareness with that. So I just love that because it just affirms, right, that your Father knows what you need before you ask. Well, here's another story, and I wrote down the barbecue, and I'm going to come back to the other stuff in a minute, right? Here's the other story. The very next, or that very same day that happened with the money, them receiving the money, my son the night before was telling me, oh, I'm so excited about this new place. I really want to barbecue. And he was telling me, do you remember that his stepmom's mom or somebody works for Weber Grills, and she had always been telling him, if you ever want one, I can get you one at a discount. And so my son was telling me the night before, he said, I'm going to call Dad, and I'm going to call him right now and ask him if they'll get me a barbecue grill, because now I can have one. I'll have a nice big patio. And so he did, and his dad said, sorry, the mom doesn't work there anymore. She can't do that anymore. And he was really bummed because he'd been talking to me about this grill like for 2 years. Like he said that when he gets his place, he was going to have one. And so fast forward that night, he said, that sucks. And I said, don't worry about it. He said, you can buy a grill really inexpensive, either on Facebook or you can go to Target or whatever. I said, getting a grill is easy. And he said, yeah, but I really wanted a Weber grill. He said, because they're nice. And I said, yeah, I know, but you're going to get one. And so fast forward next day, okay, after he got the good news, I got the good news because I am the good news, right? And he told me all of that was settled. I was sitting outside, and I remembered last summer, I was sitting on my back porch, and I was watching the maintenance person for the building. He was removing garbage or like excess stuff that was in the backyard. And I looked out there and I said, wow. I said, what's all this stuff? I said, is this like a graveyard of stuff that people have left here in the past? And he said, pretty much. And he said, but this girl looks nice. This one looks nice. This chair looks nice. And I said, yeah. I said, does it belong to anyone? He said, it's just here. He said, I'm going to leave the ones that look really nice. I'm going to leave the things that look nice. I'm just going to leave them here. And I was like, all right. Fast forward, sitting on my deck the other day after I got this good news, and I was like, I said, I remember that maintenance guy saying he put under the building those couple things that no one had claimed. So I came out, and my son's friend showed up too, and I said, you guys, I said, come to the backyard. I said, because there's a grill that no one has claimed since last year, and it's just been sitting there. And I said, it's not new, but I said, maybe it's in decent condition enough for you guys to use and clean up and take. And they didn't walk, they ran to the back. They ran to the backyard, and they get out there, and not only is it a grill, but there's even a propane tank that had gas in it for them to connect it and try it. They connect it, they try it, it works. Not only is it a grill, you ready? It's a Weber grill. And my son closed the door and looked down at it, and I said, what does that say on the grill? What's the brand? And he said, it's a Weber. And I looked at him, and he was like, he just looked at me in a daze. And in that moment, I saw reality conform to what it is that I had in my awareness. I saw him see what was happening very easily and very quickly, and just so malleable how everything just comes down and falls on my lap. Do you see this? So I wanted to share that with you because here's the key important points of the barbecue story, that your Father knows what you need before you ask. Guys, that grill was already there last year. I had no idea that my son and his friend were going to be asking for a Weber grill. And I sat there, remembered that it was there, because my Father knew what I wanted, needed, before I even asked for it, before my son asked for it. He knew before and provided it and planted it under my back porch for when I was ready to say, oh yeah, a girl would be nice for him. Just because I had a thought, just because he had a thought. The Father planted that for me before. It was all lined up, ready for me to say yes, ready for me to utilize my power of my faith. And faith is consent. It's saying, yes, I'll have it now. It was planted and I said, yes, thank you. Do you see this? Do you see this? Is so freaking amazing. It is so clear. And I love this quote by Neville Goddard. It says, if you judge by appearances, you will continue to be enslaved by the evidence of your senses. I'm going to read this again because it is so good. If you judge by appearances, you will continue to be enslaved by the evidence of your senses. In other words, if you keep looking at the 3D conditions, that what you see is what you get, let's can that quote out of your system, okay? That what you see is what you get, that what you see, touch, hear, smell, what you can tangibly hold with your hands. Because a lot of you, I know one of my clients, a lot of the clients have recently been saying, I know that I manifested it in my imagination, but I physically can't touch it, but I physically don't have it. That physical, not being here in physical presence is what trips me up. If you judge by appearances, by what you can't touch, or what you can see, touch, hear, smell, if you judge by appearances, in other words, if you're saying, well, it's not here, then it can't be here. You will continue to be enslaved by the evidence of your senses. In other words, you will not believe in your imagination. You will not believe that what you do within is the reality. You will not believe that manifesting is a real thing. You will not believe in the power of the words that come out of your mouth. You will not believe in the law, in the promise of God, that what you desire is yours, it's fulfilled. If you continue to judge if you're going to get something or not by what it looks like on the outside, you see that? It's so cool. You will be enslaved, meaning you will be a slave to what the 3D is showing you, and you will be allowed in reality transurfing. He talks about that don't be led by the hand. In other words, it's saying don't allow the 3D to grab your hand and lead you to what is real. Don't be led by the hand. And I say don't be pulled around like a lap dog on a leash, right? The lap dog is you. Don't be pulled around by a leash. You are to be cushioned and pampered, but if you allow a leash, like the 3D leash, to yank you around and tell you what is real and what is not, you are giving your power and you are enslaving yourself to the world of senses. You don't need the evidence to know that what you have is already yours. You don't need the 3D proof to show you that what you have is reality. You don't need it out here. And if you keep asking, but it's been this long, but you're still enslaved by the senses. You're still looking and waiting for the proof instead of occupying the reality that you want by choosing it and persisting it and saying, no, this is mine. So, I intend that you guys really had some breakthroughs in this video and that you have a lot of wonderful success for you and for everyone around you. And thank you so much, you guys, for your love and support and for liking the video. Thank you for subscribing to The Rosey Life. And thank you for being so freaking amazing. And I'll see you soon. Bye.